Today, an important holiday begins for the Jewish community. Passover begins at sunset and lasts through April 30th.
Passover, also known as the Festival of Freedom, celebrating a great exodus for the Jewish people. Joining us in studio with more on the 8-day holiday and how current events are affecting celebrations this year is local Rabbi Madi Wilhelm. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And happy Passover. Tell us a little bit about Passover and why it's being celebrated.
Well, Passover happens about 1313 before the Common Era. The Jewish people were enslaved in Egypt for 210 years. And Moses comes along and God sends him to the Jewish people, brings, of course, the 10 plagues, and takes the Jewish people out of Egypt, endows them with purpose, gives them what's known as the Torah, the 5 books of the law, and creates our people, and our people are thus born. That's the story of Passover in short. Tonight, we're going to get together in our homes. We're going to celebrate what's known as the Seder. The key to the Seder is the matzah. This is the very food that the Jewish people ate as they came out of Egypt. They didn't even have time to bake bread. In just a moment, they went from being slaves to suddenly being free people without even the chance for their bread to rise, to break bread. And that's the food that's celebrated in the matzah, that in a moment, everything could change. In just a moment, we can go from our slaveries, from our inhibitions, from that which holds us back, to suddenly accessing our freedom and accessing our true self.
Well, when you talk about that message and the reason for that celebration in today's current climate, obviously there are so many world events that impact the Jewish community. What does it mean to celebrate Passover right now and to remind people of that message?
This Passover is very unique, because for our people, it's been one of the most difficult 6 months that we've had in recent history. And tonight, when we're going to sit down and tell the story of Passover, we're going to talk about the birth of our people as part of the birth of our purpose and the birth of our meaning. And to be free doesn't necessarily mean that one doesn't deal with problems or challenges. To be free means that one knows that they have an inner sense of purpose, that they have an inner meaning, and that there's a gift and a message that they are bringing to the world. And when we're going to sit tonight, we're going to remember those who aren't free, and we're going to remember those who are being held hostage. We're going to remember those who are sitting in shelters, and at the same time, we're going to remember that even they and every Jew throughout our history has the ability to live in truth to themselves, to live with the message and to live with the purpose of why we're here as a people. So that's the freedom that we're really going to tap into.
Yeah, I have a lot of Jewish friends who I know have a very heavy heart right now, thinking both of the Israeli hostages and of the continued conflict in Gaza, of the casualties on the civilian side there. It's so hard to hold all of those things at once at a time when you want to come together in worship. What message do you have for folks here in America who are Jewish, who might be feeling very worried about openly practicing their faith right now?
The message is that each and every one of us have a message and have a purpose. And now is the time that we need to live in line with our purpose and share our message. Now is when the world needs it most. I tell people, when it gets dark, you can't hide away the light. When it gets dark, that's when you need to shine your light. So each one of us have to tap into our essential truths, to who we really are as a people. And we have to shine that and allow others to see that that's what's going to bring healing to the world. That's what's going to bring an overall sense of peace, an overall sense of acceptance is going to be when we don't hide the light because of the darkness, but when we actually light our inner candle.
And how will you be observing Passover today? Are there some events happening here in the Portland area?
Sure. So we're going to be hosting a Seder for about 50 people in our home, and there's going to be Seders throughout Portland area. The main celebration of Passover is the Seder, which is a family event. People get together as a family. They tell the story, and it's a moment when we transfer and we share the information from one generation to the next. So I'm going to be sharing it with my children, and throughout homes across Portland, people will be doing that. We've made it a point to give everybody handmade shmur matzah. This comes from Israel, and it has a very special potency for faith. It has a potency of healing. It has a potency of of freedom, and we're sharing that with people throughout the Portland area and throughout Oregon. As a matter of fact, we've shared it with about 3,600 homes. And if anybody needs one, they could feel free to contact us.
That's wonderful. Well, Rabbi, I appreciate your time and happy Passover. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah. And to learn more about the Passover holiday and ways to celebrate locally, again, you can go to Chabad.org/Passover. 7:23 right now, and AM Extra just getting going.